15. Okay, last chance. $15,000 going once. $15,000 going twice. Sold for $15,000.
This is Jeff, and welcome back to Outer Worlds Comics. I hope everybody's doing okay. Hit like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 500, getting close. Let's do it. So this is part 2 of my Heroes Con convention experience, and I thought I would do this one with just the artwork or the comics that I got signed, and maybe a few little extra pieces that I really enjoyed that I picked up. So yeah, let's just jump into it. As I mentioned in part 1 of this video, I did commit a good amount of time to getting autographs. I had a list prepared that I knew was going to be there that I wanted to track down. In the video where I talked about my planning of Heroes Con, I definitely pared down the autograph list that I originally started with. I had a huge list, and thankfully I did pare that down because I spent just enough time really in the comic book lines. I think the worst was Claremont for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then I committed to getting in line pretty early. I was like third in line for Jenny Frisen on Saturday, and just kind of stuck it out for like an hour and 45 before she even got there. So I just wanted to knock it out, get it done. And by that point, I had just given up on Scotty Young. I did have one book I would have liked him to sign, but I just was done waiting in lines. But I have not complaining. I had totally enjoyed it, met some great people online, and got everything pretty much that I wanted, so I was happy. So let's just get into it. So first one was I got this Absolute Batman. This is a second printing foil variant. We got Nick Dragata to sign it. Actually, my buddy Randy, who I've talked about in previous videos, he had several books for Nick to sign, so he just grabbed this one for me. I gave it to him to have it signed, so that's what I did. But I just love this cover. I love the series. I love the Absolute Batman series. I love all of the Absolute stuff. So, and I just love the way that the signature looks great there. So grab that. Of course, if you've watched my Rocky Mountain Con video that's on here, and you know my prior videos, I love West Coast Avengers. So I got Bob Hall to sign that and was able to talk to Bob Hall a good bit about West Coast Avengers. Had a great time talking to him. So Brett Breeding works on this book as well, and he was there, so I had Brett Breeding sign. He signed it right on Hawkeye's leg. Pretty cool. So yeah, that looks great. I'm happy with that. That's my OG West Coast Avengers. We'll probably never really get this graded. It's not bad, but this is just special to me. So I was stoked to get that. I think I actually did take a... God, I didn't fix it, did I? I lied. This stupid thing. Someday, somebody out there as a YouTuber, just tell me about a good microphone, because I hate this microphone and I need help. Okay, moving on. So I did get a picture of Al Milgrom. He had a great shirt on, and he had like pockets in it where he could put his money that he would take for the autographs. It was amazing. And he was one of my favorites. Just a very fun, seemed very lovable guy, I guess. So I wish I would have had more signed by him, but I just took this one because this is the first appearance of Grey Hulk. I think it's like the first time the Grey Hulk emerges since the classic Kirby era Hulk. So yeah. So anyway, I think that's a significant book for the Hulk, and of course I'm a huge Hulk fan, so I had Al Milgrom sign that book for me. And very happy about that. Hulk 324. Okay, so I took... this one is like, out of all of my books, this one was kind of like a little specky. But I bought this book, if you go way back in my videos, when I bought a collection from Wyoming, and it had a lot of modern... There was like a modern collection and then like a bronze collection. This one came out of that modern stuff. And so I've been sitting on it since last summer, and it's the first appearance of Mayday Parker. And so I had Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends sign this. I had done a lot of research on this one, but I realized as I was starting to talk, I've forgotten the name of this person. He was sitting next to, I think, Tom DeFalco. And Tom mentioned, he goes, well, you know, if you don't know so-and-so, he did some work on this book, or I think on this book. And I've researched it, and I can't find the guy's name anywhere that apparently worked on this book. It's like something Okelich. I'll put it up on the screen. That's what I'll do. Thank you for editing, Magic. So anyway, I had him sign it as well, and I don't know if I regret that. I'm going to be honest. Nothing against the guy, but I can't really find anything like where he's involved in it. So it's kind of weird. Maybe somebody can correct me in the comics. So anyway, yeah, there you go. It's a really high grade. It's great copy. So I had it signed. I'll keep it in the collection. Maybe have it graded. Who knows what I'll eventually do with it. I got this. This is a really high grade copy of Classic X-Men #1. I got this actually at Hall of Justice Comics as part of when I was helping them organize. They gave me store credit. So I grabbed this because I didn't have it, and it's high grade. So I took this and had Chris Claremont and Art Adams sign it. I think I even took a picture of both of those that I can edit in my thing. So I did took a couple of pictures. So yeah, I just think this is a great, awesome cover. And to have both of those signatures, Chris Claremont, again, I waited in 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I think I got 2 signatures from him. He was nice. Like everybody says, he'll talk a lot. He did, and he talked to me a little bit. Art Adams, I kind of... I happened to catch it early when the line hadn't gotten crazy, so I was able to get in and out pretty quick with him, but I just kept things moving. I didn't really stop and chat with him. But anyway, I think that is awesome to have both of those signatures on there. And I had Chris Claremont sign New Mutants #1, and Bob McLeod signed it as well, right there. So, you know, I love New Mutants. This is one of the books I read when I was a kid. Probably I picked it up somewhere around like the issue 30 and pat forward from there. That's probably when I got into it. So yeah, I definitely remember reading New Mutants. So it's a special series to me. I don't necessarily hold it up there with like the Alpha Flight and West Coast Avengers, but I should mention it more because it was one of those series that I did read along with those other two. So yeah, I'm happy to have both of those signatures on it. It's a pretty nice copy as well. It's a nice grade. So we'll see what I do with that. And then I went to Adam Hughes on Saturday. I waited and I was the first in line for Adam Hughes on Saturday. And he was supposed to start at 9, and I think he started signing my comic by like 8:45, 8:50. So that was great. I only had a couple things for him to sign. He wasn't very chatty. He had just sat down and literally got his pens ready, and I set a couple books in front of him, and he started signing. But I got Sensational She-Hulk #52, so he signed right down there. He's got, there it is on the comic right there, and then here he signed it. But of course, I collect Sensational She-Hulk. I love Sensational She-Hulk, and I think this is a great cover, honestly. So it's a classic Adam Hughes cover, so I just love it. Awesome to be having that signed. So very cool. And then I had him sign this, and he didn't bat an eye, so it must not have been anything new for him, I guess. But I found this. It's Deathhawk #1. So I got this in one of the collection. I don't know where I got it, in one of the random little collections I've bought recently. I think that's must have where it got picked up at. And when I bought it, I did not know that it was Adam Hughes. But when I started researching my CLZ app to see what books I might have, and I did some Google research, it turns out like this is some of his first interior artwork, I think, in a comic. I don't know that it's the first, but it's very early. And of course, right when you open the page, see if I can get this up close for you. I don't know how that's turning out. I can't see. But yeah, so that's definitely Adam Hughes. Awesome artwork right there on the cover. And then he just signed it. I had him sign an interior because he didn't do the cover. He's just done the interior work. So I had him sign it right under that awesome female right there in the jumpsuit. So that was cool. He didn't mention he didn't like bat an eye. So sometimes those guys are like, oh wow, I haven't seen that in a while. I didn't get that out of him. Okay, and then I like I said, I waited about an hour and 45 minutes for Jenny Frisen, and I had 2 books for her to sign. And Randy gave me a book to have signed for his friend. So I got this Vampirella issue number. I don't know if this is issue number 1. I'm forgetting now, but it's a Virgin. It's awesome. I don't buy a lot of stuff like this, but I'm always looking at, when they give you the kind of the order list from the comic store. I do love a good Virgin variant, and I am getting more into Jenny Frisen. I do like her artwork a lot. I don't collect Vampirella, but I do have some of the magazines. Anyway, I just thought this cover was dope. I love it. So yeah, I had her sign it. So that was very cool. And then I also had her sign this Zatanna. And this is not coming out well with the glare. I don't know if there's a way to really do that, but she signed it in like that gold kind of. It looks awesome on the cover. And I do love Zatanna. And this was that those limited series. Love the cover. Anyway, so very cool to have that. And then she had a little box of comics that you could buy. And I just flipped through it real quick as I was like 3rd or 4th in line. And as I was coming up to her, there was the box. I just started flipping, and she had this in there, which is, David Bowie in Labyrinth, which I love that movie as a kid. And then I've had my kids watch it. I do love owls. I love the owl in Labyrinth. I have an owl tattoo. See, I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. So I grabbed it and had her sign it. It was $10. None of those autographs cost anything either. It was like first 3 were free, which is very awesome. Starlin was like $20, which is probably why I did not have as much signed as I brought for him. But the remaining here are ones that I'm most stoked about. World War Hulk is kind of the book. Planet Hulk, World War Hulk are the comics that really sparked my interest in my kind of second wave of collecting comics back around the time that this was coming out. So I consider Planet Hulk and World War Hulk really the runs that kind of really pulled me back into comics. And then like Blackest Night kind of after that, really, I love that as well. But anyway, so this is my original World War Hulk that I bought many moons ago. And so I brought it and had it, John Romita Jr., David Finch, and Klaus Janson all sign this book. I don't know if you're going to pick it up in the glare there, and it was really cool as I was really able to have a conversation with John Romita Jr. and David Finch about what this book meant to me and how important it was to me. And that really kicked off some great conversations with both of them, where they were really kind of expressing how they felt about the art and the story and kind of the significance of presenting Hulk in the way that they presented him in this run. It really kind of changed the game for the Hulk. I think it's like, for me, pretty much definitive, like most kick-ass version of Hulk. I mean, I think it's the most powerful Hulk. Maestro could be debated, but anyway, it means a lot to me. This book means a lot to me. So to have those autographs on there is really amazing. It's got like one little tick that I can tell. I don't know if I would send it in for grading. It's just a personal thing, but I love it. Okay, so then rounding out here, we got Silver Surfer number 34, which is the return of Thanos. He had been kind of out of action, dead, something, for a few years. I don't know, it was probably like 10 years at least. So anyway, he returns, and so I had Starlin and Ron Lim sign this. I originally didn't, because Starlin was charging $20, so I was like, well, I have 2 things I for sure want him to sign. But then I rethought it, and I'm like, I went back on Sunday and had him sign this, and Ron Lim sign it. So yeah, I think it's awesome. So Silver Surfer fan, Thanos fan. Let's see, I had I had Jim Starlin sign this. So I just think, to be honest with you, I just think the cover is incredible. I love sci-fi and horror and anything mixing of the two. And I'm not saying this is horror by any means, it's fantasy, but the cover is just so killer. Unfortunately, when I put it in, there was just it smudged just a little. That kind of sucks. But it was cool to have him sign it. He didn't really bat an eye. He didn't say anything. And frankly, I haven't really read it. I got this from a guy that I buy comics from, and it's just one of those things that I really got it for the cover. I will admit, I will eventually read this thing, but I just think it's an incredible cover. So, and this is the one that I think I'm most excited about. So we got a really nice minty copy. It could be 9.8 of Thanos Quest. And we have John Beatty, Ron Lim, and Jim Starlin right above. And Starlin actually did make a little joke. When I put this in front of him, he goes, he said, when is the only time that Thanos looks up to me? And I said, I don't know, when? And then he signed his name right above the face and looked back at me and started laughing. And I got a kick out of that. I'm sure he probably tells that joke. I'm sure he sees this a good bit. But it was a nice personal interaction because there was a lot of comics. There was people that had huge stacks of comics for him to sign. So he was just kind of churning and burning, but he gave me a little bit there. But this, I might send this in to be graded. It could be a 9.8. And I have those autographs on there. Tom Vincent is the only name on the front cover that I don't have signed. Maybe I'd look in to see is he around. I don't know anything about him. So I'd have to do a little research and see if he's around, if he's signing. I don't know. But otherwise, I got those three, and I just thought that was awesome. It's a great book. John Beatty signed like the glowing hand there. So yeah, I think that's cool. So I was really happy to have that. All right, and then this is one other signature, which is also very cool, equally as cool as the Thanos in its own way. So this is Heavy Metal. It's issue number 10. It's from January of 1978. I was going around. This was on Friday because I hadn't looked at a lot of books. I had been online all day for autographs. So I was like, I got to just look at a couple booths here. And I just stopped by. There was a little corner booth, not very big, and I saw some heavy metals. And it was a older gentleman, and it looked like probably his wife. And I think it was his wife. And I just started he had like odds and ends stuff, heavy metal, National Lampoon magazines, just some quirky stuff. And then there was like a little collection of like Barbie stuff that there was their daughters. It was just my kind of booth with like funky stuff. And then they ended up chatting with me a good bit. The gentleman did, and he was really interesting. And it turns out his name is John Workman. I did not know John Workman, and given the fact that I have a ton of heavy metal magazines at this point, you would think maybe I would know who he is, because he was the art director for heavy metal between 1977 and 1984. So really, the beginning of heavy metal through 1984, which is kind of like what I collect, is like I kind of stop. I do have some post 84, but really trying to finish 77 to 84. So I mean, he's done art, writing, lettering, coloring, design work. He's done it all with heavy metal. He was an integral figure in this magazine, and he was very nondescript, not getting a lot of action at his little table. And he did sign this for me. He asked me if I wanted to have it signed. I said sure. And then he kind of opened up the magazine and starts looking through it. And then he's like, finds his name. Sure enough, he goes, yeah, there I am, art director. And then he just signed it down there. And then he put 2025. So, there's an element of me collecting these heavy metals because I just love the covers and I do like the interior artwork. But my collecting over the last year has been so fast and furious that I don't consume as much of the knowledge. And like, I need to dive into like the issues and the background more and learn the writers and all the artists. And I've been talking about this on here, that it's something I need to spend more time on versus just the collecting aspect. So that was a very, very, very cool experience. He was awesome. Spent a lot of time with me. I was probably there for 30 minutes talking to him. He was showing me other stuff he's worked on, and then he had some some kind of printing press type of part of the process that he was selling. Excuse me. It was so cool. So I was really happy to get that signed. All right, next up. So, okay. I am an Adventure Time fan. I have never done the sketch blank variant thing where I see people bringing, I just learning about this because I was with my friend Randy. He had one done, but then I've talked to other people. There was one guy in line for Jenny Frisen that he had a ton of these things where these blanks get drawn on, and he likes Darth Vader. So it was a whole thing that I learned about when I was there. So I happened to bring a blank Adventure Time, just keeping my eye open to see if there would be an artist that maybe has done some Adventure Time work, or somebody that might have the style that would be cool that I would like, that would maybe fit well on here. And I never really, there was a few people I talked to about it, but maybe the timing didn't feel right, or maybe I didn't want to spend maybe as much as I would maybe have to. So as I'm kind of walking through on a side aisle, there's this taller, they're both young kids. I don't want to call them kids. Maybe they're like early 20s, but they could be 19. I don't know. They were definitely younger. One of them had this huge, tall, like cardboard looking wizard hat thing on. And the other guy was, I think, the artist at the booth. And they were really unique, interesting artist kids. And I just happened to notice that there was a little Adventure Time print. And so I kind of looked at it because I was like, oh, maybe I'll buy that. And just started rapping with the guys. And they were really cool. Really, really enjoyed talking to them. Very unique, younger artists, which I try to be supportive of younger, ambitious artists. You know, I know how it's difficult to get your start. They had set up a booth there. They're taking initiative. I looked at some of his art that he had at the table. I thought he had a very cool style. So I started talking to him about Adventure Time, and I pull out the blank that I had. And I said, would you be interested in doing I want to have BMO, who's this little kind of like Game Boy looking thing on Adventure Time. I love the character. My daughter loves the character. So it's a special thing for us. So I was just like, would you be interested? And he was like, I've never done one. What do I saw him walk over to go ask another guy, artist at the booth, like, what would he charge? And he came back and he goes, 75? And I said, no problem. 75 is great. And he has never been asked to do, this was his first time he's ever been asked to do a sketch blank variant. So he was thrilled, I think a little nervous, but excited. And I was like, dude, we're in this together. I've never had one done either. So let's do it. Like, I want to help you experience this. You're helping me experience it. Let's have fun with it. Draw me a BMO. We're all good. $75. So I said, I'll come back tomorrow. So take your time. So I did that, and I came back, and he drew me this. And it was really fun because he did BMO Noir. And BMO is kind of like, he's got the little hat and the magnifying glass, like a little detective, like the bow tie. And then he's got the cat there, and the floor. The detail on the floor is awesome. He nailed BMO. The cat looks classic Adventure Time. And then he signed it. So his name is Adam Seats. You can find him on Instagram. He was a really nice guy. His friend was awesome. And then Adam even drew me this little print. So it's a print of the character that he put on the cover. And it's just another killer little BMO. I was really tickled with it, man. Like, he was really excited. And I saw he posted on Instagram like he did his first blank sketch variant. So that is the kind of stuff that gets me excited, is to be able to kind of have that interaction. And I was happy that I told him that when he was handing it to me, I was like, dude, this is our first time for both of us. I was really excited. So, and he was too. So anyway, that's a really special, I'll cherish this. I think it's just special. So it was a really cool experience. What else? I've got a couple other things and we'll be done. There was the drink and draw I told you. So there was this that was there for, I bought this for, it goes for charity for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So look into that. If you want to donate to a great cause, you should do that. But that's what this is for. So it was there for a $125. And I had met, I'm forgetting the name. I feel like his name is Chris, the guy who runs that auction for Heroes Con and Michael J. Fox Foundation. I met him because my buddy Randy, of course, knew him, and talked to Chris a good bit. He was an awesome guy, and I learned more about what he does and the work he's put in for the foundation. So I was like, I'm going to contribute. And I thought this was killer. I like punk rock. Of course, I like all kinds of music, but I do like punk. And Storm, that 80s Storm punk Mohawk was killer. I remember it when I was a kid. And I do have some Spider-Punk comics. So anyway, the whole thing worked for me. Storm was punk before Spider-Man. Killer. I had a lot of people stopping at my table after I bought it saying, oh man, that's a good buy. So the artist name is Steven Beezer. So he is on Instagram, Steven Beezer. So Steven, thank you. This is incredible art. And I'll get that framed and find a place in my house here for it. This is the first original art that I've bought from a comic. This is from Jay Gonzo, and it's a Cheech and Chong comic. It was like a God, I can't remember the exact name. It's like Google Cheech and Chong comic book. Okay. It came out. It's like they go on like a road trip to Vegas. They have an adventure. So when I was at the drink and draw, we met a friend. His name was Matt, and he was sitting with us, and he saw Jay Gonzo there at the drink and draw and started telling me all about him. I didn't know anything about him, and he was raving about his art. It's kind of like that Mexican Day of the Dead style artwork thing. I feel like a little bit of a psychedelic vibe to it, which I love that in my artwork. So we were walking by the next day, and I saw his booth. He was not there. His girlfriend or his wife was there. And we ended up kind of talking to her and looking through his pages. So my buddy Randy already actually owns some pages from another book that Jay Gonzo has worked on. And he bought some Godzilla Fights LA or something like that. He bought a page from that. But this is from that Cheech and Chong book. And it was only, I think, $60. And I think it's killer because it's got like, the VW bus going by. There's a hitchhiker. Chong is looking out the window. And there's the hitchhiker. You got the armadillo. You got the moon. They just drive by the hitchhiker, it appears. And Chong's looking back at him. I love Cheech and Chong. I actually oftentimes will discuss how there's a whole generation of people that probably have no idea about Cheech and Chong and how great those movies were and how unbelievably funny those dudes were. They were like big time. And the Cheech and Chong movies are freaking amazing. And I loved them as a kid. So I love Cheech and Chong. And now I own some artwork. And I'm very happy about it. And I had Jay Gonzo sign it. He was a really cool guy. So check out Jay Gonzo on Instagram. I think he's got some exciting things coming up from talking to him at the booth. And then, okay, this is the last print that I got. And then we'll wrap it up. It's 27 minutes. I got this because I love Uncle Scrooge. And I sat with Don Rosa for quite a while. We had a great conversation. He was amazing. And he had a bunch of different prints available. And I ultimately settled on this one. And he kind of told me the story about where this was influenced by, the story behind it. There's Charlie Chaplin vibes happening here, obviously. And I just love it. I love I love just the viewpoint of this. And he's got coins tied to string, wrapping it, twirling it around, which is pretty interesting. He would never let money slip out of his fingers, right? And then he just said, for Jeff, Don Rosa. So that was an incredible experience to talk to him and add this to some artwork that I own that I'll put up in my space here. So that's it. That's my autograph stuff. I actually have a couple other things here that I could talk about, but I'm going to wait because we're at 28 minutes here, and that's long enough. So I can't even believe that went by that quick. I feel like that's impossible, but I guess that's what happens. But yes, like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments on the comment section about the autographs I got, about any of the artwork that I just showed. I appreciate any feedback, thoughts, commentary, you name it. I always talk back and respond. Otherwise, there will be a part 3 where I will probably show off everything else that I got, which is a lot. So boy, oh boy, it could be a long video. I promise I won't do that to you. I'll trim it down. I'll figure out a way to do that. But otherwise, you guys all be good. Peace out. See ya.